Gabo, Waakatu. This is Daku, and today I want to talk about molestation. I don't want to talk about it from the perspective of black consciousness. I don't want to talk about it from the perspective of black liberation. I don't want to talk about it from the perspective of religion. I don't want to talk about it from the perspective of these news articles, news reports, and statistics. What I want to do is talk about it from my own experiences, from my own observations. Now, I've known 5 grandmothers in my life, the oldest of which was 104. And some of them were very open and honest with me about the realities of life. The grandmother that was 104 saw the whole 20th century. So many of you out there that think a lot of these things that are happening today are new, you're highly mistaken. We've been destroyed on every level of human existence by the white man. Okay? It's just that simple. And this ain't no black conscious video. This is a reality video. We talking reality today. So it ain't even about we hate white people. It's about what happened. And what happened was you were destroyed on every level of human existence. As Dr. Naeem Akbar tells us, we grew up in a European septic tank. And it's impossible to grow up in a European toilet and not stink. Dr. Marimba Ali tells us that culture is the immune system of a people. And we've been robbed, as the Nation of Islam tells you all the time, of a knowledge of yourself. Okay? You've been robbed of your culture. You've been robbed of your norms. Okay? So, because you don't know your culture, you practice the culture of the white man. So, as I said, I'm not part of any of these black conscious organizations out here. So I can say what needs to be said without regurgitating what I done heard 100,000 times. I can say what needs to be said and let the chips fall where they may. Molestation is not based on sexual preference. I'll say it again, just in case you thought I said the wrong thing. Molestation is not based on sexual preference. It's not a homosexual thing. It's not a straight thing. Okay? It's a illness. And it's one of the many manifestations of the Black Holocaust. Alright? It's one of the many manifestations of racism, white supremacy. We've adopted the white man's culture. So part of the culture that we've adopted tells us, men, that it's alright to leave the family. But nature tells us that your job, man, is to protect your family. So if you're anywhere but on post, protecting your family, if you're anywhere but securing the perimeter of your home, protecting your family, then you ain't doing your job. Who told you it was the right thing to do to be out of the home all day? You think you're doing the right thing by working all day long. Meanwhile, you ain't protecting the house, the home front. You ain't protecting the house. Who gonna protect your child? Your woman? And this ain't no chauvinistic rant, ladies. The fact is, the man's job, if you look at nature, most of the time, is to protect the family. It's not that women don't protect the family. It's not that women don't attempt to protect the family. It's not that men will always be able to protect the family. But the way nature has it, the man's job is to protect the family from outside dangers, outside threats, from predators. But if the man ain't there, then he can't protect the family. That's the real issue. So because we live in a white man's society, in the white man's culture and under the white man's laws, women, you think it's cool, it's all right to be separate or to separate yourself from the man, put the man out. You say, I don't need that nigga. I can raise my kids on my own. How many women have said that? How many of you have said that? How many of you heard your girlfriends and your family members say that? Where'd they get that from? You can raise your kids on your own. Yes, in an unnatural world. But in the natural world, you need that entire, total, complete family unit to protect you, the man, and the child from the outside dangers of the world. Okay? So that's the real issue of molestation. You trust this system so much. You say you want your child to learn how to play football. You send him down to the football practice. He get molested by the football coach. This ain't something I seen on the news, y'all. This is something I know about from the area in which I live. That was a man molesting a boy. I also know of situations where women molested boys, where men molested girls. It's not a gender thing. It's not a homosexual thing. It's not a straight thing. It's not a sexual preference thing. It's an illness thing. And it's just another manifestation of the Black Holocaust. We have to come back together and reestablish the family bond, the family unit, to protect our children from these predators out here. Who told you, men, that you should be away from the home all day working? Who told you that? You think you're doing the right thing, but you haven't thought about that all the way through. You're working 8 hours a day, those of you that got regular jobs, a 9 to 5. But if you like many people that can't get a 9 to 5, you working the first shift, the second shift, you working overnight, you don't know what the hell going on at home. Okay? You got predators all around your kids. You don't know these people. We all sick. All right? You don't know what their illnesses are, but you trusting them around your kids. You sending your kids to these schools. And it don't matter if white or black people working in these schools. They molesting your kids. Molesting the girls and the boys. You sending them over there to the church because you want them to get spiritual edification. And the leaders in the church molesting the kids. It's your job to protect the kids. You can't spend all night and day chasing dick ladies. You can't spend all night and day chasing pussy men. You can't spend all day at work and at school thinking you're doing the right thing by your children. You think you're giving them a good example to live by. Meanwhile, you're leaving your children unprotected. How many children walk home from school? Girls and boys. Let themselves in the house. How many children are unprotected by the parents? Because somebody done took the parents out the damn house. Done convince you that that's the right thing to do. And those of us that are so educated in the white man's system, we look at people that ain't working and contributing to the goddamn white man's racist society, supporting it and helping to maintain it. We look at people that ain't working as like something wrong with them. Ain't nothing wrong with them. They supposed to be at home. If they got kids, raising, teaching, feeding, protecting their children. That's your job. That's the real problem with molestation. You always want to take the easy way out and blame it on something that it ain't. Again, molestation ain't a gay thing. It ain't a straight thing. It ain't a sexual preference thing. It ain't a gender thing. It's a cultural thing. And if you have been robbed of your culture, then you have no protection of your family and your children. So do your best to reestablish the culture. If you can, have one of the parents at home. If you feel like you just got to get out there and work. Somebody should be at home protecting the children. Now, I know many of you believe that Jesus is just going to protect your child You're going to leave it in the hands of the Lord. Well, the Lord, what you call God, gave you the sense to protect your own children. But you obviously are ignoring your God by thinking that God would want me to go work down at the shoe store. A totally irrelevant job. You selling shoes. Alright? You down at the shoestring factory making shoestrings all day. Who's at home watching and protecting the kids? Who's teaching your kid? You need to ask yourself that. And so if somebody molests your child, then yes, do what nature tells you to do. Respond the way nature tells you to respond. But just remember, you are just as much at fault as the predator. So maybe you need to look in the mirror and punish yourself as well. This has been Daku Akabo wa Akatu.